If you've been watching the Olympics, you've no doubt seen sweeping shots of the iconic Christ the Redeemer monument overlooking Rio de Janeiro. Beyond its breathtaking views, the statue has a colorful history that's worth exploring, and a future that could leave it looking very different from how it does today. Here are a few facts about Cristo Redentor, as it's known in its native Portuguese. It is one of the world wonder. It came in response to an advancing tide of godlessness. After World War I, followers felt they needed a symbol to counteract what they saw as increasing godlessness throughout the country. In 1920, they selected engineer Heitor da Silva Costa's design of a statue of Christ to be situated atop Mount Corcovado overlooking the city. The construction took 9 years. Da Silva Costa traveled to France in search of a world-class sculptor to turn his divine design into reality. He eventually commissioned Paul Landowski, a French-Polish sculptor who further sharpened the statue's Art Deco design. Over the next several years, Landowski fashioned the 98-foot-tall sculpture in clay pieces, which were then shipped to Brazil and remade with reinforced concrete. It is covered with 6 million stone tiles. The inner framework is made of concrete. The outer layers of the statue are composed of soapstone imported from Sweden. Christ the Redeemer was built in bits and pieces. The pieces were assembled, then transferred to the top of Mount Corcovado. The stones that were used to build Christ the Redeemer came from Sweden. Wind and rain have worn away at the statue's stone tiles, necessitating numerous restorations. Over the years, Christ the Redeemer is also a frequent target of lightning strikes. Although most fizzle out on its numerous lightning rods, the monument has taken some damaging hits recently. Just before the World Cup in 2014, lightning sent the back of the head and zapped off the tip of a finger, leaving Rio scrambling to make repairs before the eyes of the world were upon it. There's a chapel at the base. To celebrate the monument's 75th anniversary in 2006, authorities built a small chapel at its base. So yes, you can get married beneath Christ the Redeemer. However, there's limited space inside, and making the slow journey to the top, cog train, to an elevator to an escalator, in full wedding attire may not be everyone's idea of romance. A cross or inviting a hug? Depends on how you look at it. Rather than depict Christ carrying a cross, da Silva Costa designed the figure to resemble a cross with his outstretched arms. Scholars have noted that this symbolizes a bridge between traditional depictions of Christ, which typically showed him nailed to or carrying a cross, and modern ones. Today, Brazil is a much more religiously diverse nation, and many view the statue's gesture as one of welcoming and peace. In 1969, Brazilian artist Gilberto Gil wrote a song inspired by the monument called That Hug. Even with the famous statue aging and slowly turning color, it is expected that Christ the Redeemer will continue to be a popular symbol of the city and a well-liked spot for tourists to come to as they visit the city of Rio de Janeiro.